If you've ever thought about getting into land, but you felt overwhelmed, this video is for you. Because land sounds amazing in theory. Privacy, space, quiet, maybe hunting, some homesteading, or just getting out of town. But then people start thinking about wells, septic, utilities, loans, down payments, and then they just shut down. So I want to walk you through this in a really realistic way. Not to sell you anything, just to let you know how land actually works. First thing you need to know is land is very different than buying a house. When you buy a house, most of the infrastructure is already there. With land, you're usually starting with nothing. It doesn't mean it's impossible, it just means planning matters a lot more. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is land is unaffordable. Most of the time, the monthly payment is not the problem. Most people can't afford the payment on land. The biggest hurdle is usually the down payment and how to structure the loan. Land loans are different. Some lenders want 10, 20% down, and maybe even more depending on the bank. That's usually what scares people off before even asking any questions. Now, let's talk about utilities, because this is where people do get overwhelmed. With land, you need to know, do you need a well? Do you need septic? How far are utilities and the cost to bring them in? Some properties already have utilities nearby, and others don't, and that can change the cost a lot. I've seen electric runs that are very affordable, and I've seen some that are very expensive. This is why doing your research up front matters. And there's something people don't realize. You don't have to do everything at once. Some people buy land and hold it while they plan. Some start with a camper. Some put in utilities first. Some build later. Land can happen in phases. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Another big thing beginners don't think about is access. Does the land have legal access? Does it have a maintained road? Is it landlocked? These things matter with financing and resale. Just because a piece of land is pretty does not mean it's a good buy. Water is another big one. Before you buy land, you need to know how deep wells typically are in that area, what the soil looks like, or if septic's even possible. I've seen people buy land and then find out later that drilling a well or a septic is way more expensive than they anticipated. That's where planning and asking a lot of questions up front saves a lot of stress. So now let's talk about expectations. Buying land usually takes longer than buying a house. Financing takes longer, due diligence takes longer, and that is normal. Land is not an emotional purchase the same way a house is. It's a long-term decision, and it works best when you slow down and think through the whole picture. And finally, this is probably the most important thing. You don't need to know everything to get started. Most people stop and think that they need all the answers before they make a move, and you don't. You just need the next step. Once you know what questions to ask and what lenders to talk to, once you know what the land is zoned for and what your realistic budget looks like, everything becomes a lot more manageable. If you're thinking about buying land but don't know where to start, that's normal. If you want help talking through it and wondering what your next step should be, send me an email. Even if the answer is not right now, having a plan is a whole lot better than guessing.